welcome back to Berlin for Game 2 of Fnatic versus Mad Lions. For Mad Lions, this could be the last game of their summer season. Backs are against the wall. They selected red side once again, and the analyst desk were scratching their heads a little bit when I asked Jamada and Dagda why they thought it was going to be red side. I'm wondering about the Melio pick. I'm wondering about the Rumble pick. I'm wondering what on earth can they do to try and shut down Fnatic?
My only thought here, Trev, is it's got to be something game-breaking on R5. Why else would you stay on red side? I feel like in this meta, it's like the blue side is generally preferred. I feel like the first pick of the of, you know, putting pressure on things like the Kai'Sa or just like first pick Rumble, Rell, all of these things, you can then trade it back in kind for 2 more picks, and normally you end up on the better side of the trade on blue.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like there's a lot of power picks at the moment, but there are like the prime evils essentially that you need to try and take off the board. And I think if you're on blue side, you just get your hands on one pretty much every time. So I am super confused as to why you would opt into this. Literally across the world, we've seen every other team go for blue side. Even if you look across in LPL playoffs, it has been blue side dominated when it comes to that choice. So I'm very surprised to see them go for red.
Well, Mad Lions are on an 8-game losing streak right now. And if they lose one more, then their summer groups run ends. They set their sights on the season finals. Let's see what their plan is. In game number 1, they banned LeBlanc, Tristana, and Poppy. And at least the LeBlanc right now has been removed from the pool. The Rell was something that was a bit concerning, I think, and now all of a sudden Poppy once again. So do they just stick to the same game plan? I'm
curious if they ban the Maokai instead here as Mad Lions, and you're just like, hey, look, we want to try and get rid of the opportunity to go for a Tristana or for the Jayce as well, because you can see Humanoid was firing on all cylinders. I don't think he missed an EQ combo the entire game. Like, it was absolutely absurd. So I think either opting in towards banning the Jayce and maybe taking the evil that is still Tristana, or just opting to try and get rid of any sort of AP jungler might be.
Mad Lions also banned Poppy 1 ban early, so they remove away the Xayah this time around. So what, Maokai first pick still pretty on the cards here for me for Fnatic?
I mean, in game 1, it was the Jayce for Humanoid, and it absolutely smashed. I did mention as well in that first game that for Chasy, it was his first ever Rumble game on stage, and I think it did show a little bit. I think Oscarinin's Ornn had a phenomenal laning phase, and the impact was undeniable once we got to the team fights, and thus far, we're pretty much sticking to the game plan. With the Xayah removed, that means Noah will have to find a different AD, but it's going to be the Rumble, it's going to be the Rell, and last time it was Maokai plus that Xayah, so they have to pick a different AD this time.
And that's the thing, the safety of that Xayah is gone. So we're still seeing Fnatic going for the exact same story, but I think Mad Lions are saying, hey, look, we really want to make sure that we're actually in an okay spot when it comes to just making sure we can engage on Noah in the bot lane. We can still take things like the Ashe, but actually have a game plan where we can play down that lane.
Okay, so this Sylas hover is interesting, because even though you'll dip them into a lot of AP damage, they're still going to have an AD carry to pick up. And I imagine that if this is the option, Carzzy would go towards, you know, a tank buster. This is kind of a decent way to sort of re-engage with that front line.
Okay, it's going to be swapped to the bot. I was actually curious to see, because one of the big things that we saw with Rumble was that like magic resist was nerfed and all these kind of things, right? Yeah. But into AD matchups, it's actually not, it's still not great into a Jayce, but at least you could maybe play a mid. You could end up saying Sylas top side. That's an old school counter into the Ornn, but but it's not going to be the case. We're just going to go for Vi anyway.
What I do like about the Vi, that does give Elyoya that option to be backed up by Hylissang on that engage tool with the Rell. I think in terms of finding their targets, if Fnatic stick to a sort of 2 damage comp again, that will be an unlocking tool for them. For Elyoya, it is also his 3rd most played champion all time. And for Nisqy, will he have that Sylas banned away? When you think about stealing the Maokai ult, stealing the Ornn ult, those are tools that could be great, and it is Nisqy's 2nd most played champion. I kind of like the concept.
I'm not going to lie, though, it feels like coming in for this Mad Lions have gone, right, well, screw you, Noah. Because it's like, all right, well, we're going to take the Rell, great engage on bot lane, point and click on the Vi, and then we're like, anything that can keep you safe, we're going to get rid of in this bot lane.
You know, I'm actually kind of wondering too, even though Mad Lions theoretically, you know, they can just go mid pick here, right? They can get the, I wonder if they take away the Tristana just to remove away another safe AD carry and just hold Nisqy's pick till 5, because I think if Noah wants to lean on that Tristana, he actually could in this situation, and dealing with all of these divers as Tristana having Buster Shot Rocket Jump, that's a really solid pick for him.
I'm curious if you just see Noah pivot into an Ezreal though. I think when you've got a ton of poke here with the Jayce and the Ez, that can work work out super well. You've got that added safety of having that being knocked back, and they banned the Tristana themselves. So trying to get rid of that mid lane pressure for Nisqy. But I actually wouldn't mind an Ezreal here for Noah. I think it works out pretty well with what Mad Lions are trying to do here.
And of course, for Noah, of his 200 odd games, 20 of them are on Ezreal.
Whoa.
The 65% win rate. Nisqy instead will be locking in the Taliyah on this 4th pick. I think the ability to impact play around that side lane, great. When you combo it with the Vi, sure. But I still feel a little bit nervous on how they're going to deal with these potential team fights and figure out what Carzzy is going to be running in that bottom lane.
Okay, it looks like Noah. Yeah, I think the Ezreal would be a really, really good shout here. I mean, the Jinx works well in the front to back scenario, but I think with the way that these team fights play out, it's going to be a little bit difficult. So might be a Gale Force angle here for Noah on the Jinx to make sure that he can try and stay safe. Big question now for Trymbi is, what do you want to try and bring to the table? Nautilus still up and available, but Trymbi has loved his enchanters, and I think you definitely want a little bit of appeal here.
Yeah, you know, I think the way that this team fight works for Mad Lions as well, something like Jenna could actually be a pretty secret pick. Thresh as well. I mean, again, you know, drag your AD carry in with the Lantern, you're bringing the Vi with you, and then she just gets one shot in the mix.
Yeah, and I think the fact that you get the disengage for the Rell is going to work out super well. Ton of setup there. So I actually really like this opportunity, but that would be sick. But do we see it? Okay, let's go.
Okay, so what does this do then in terms of the game plan here? When I look at Mad Lions, I see a death ball comp that wants to jump all the way forward.
I mean, you're the able expert from the LPL. You're going to have to give us the rundown here.
I am so happy and excited to see this. So this is just going to be about 2v2. This is going to be about presence. It's going to be about trying to find as many kills as you can. And when you have something like Vi Taliyah roaming down towards that bottom side of the map 24/7, I expect it's going to be Armageddon pretty much just 24/7. All the resources will go down there. And if Chasy falls behind, he's still going to be able to drop the equalizer quickly.
For Carzzy, this is the 2nd time that he's ever played Samira. The previous performance was a win. And of course, for Fnatic, now they're looking to pick up the 2-0, looking to shut down Mad Lions and move on to face SK. Early game, what are we anticipating here? Because it feels to me...
Bot lane. Everything bot lane.
Just all in, all and early.
So we call the Fnatic comp as front to back. We call the Mad Lions comp screw Noah. This is a case of just get to the bot lane, make sure we can kill him over and over, and make sure he's not having a good time.
Can they do it? Elyoya was unable to find impact in game number 1 of this series. He's piloting the Rell this time around, but a lot more tools for support. He's got himself the ability to jump onto that backline with that Vi. Elyoya will be called to step up and to shut down Razork. For Mad Lions, it's do or die. Let's hit the rift. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. During picks and bans, Jamada said one of the things that could be in Mad Lions' game plan or mentality is a red side 5th pick that breaks the game. Is Samira the pick that does so? The last time Carzzy played it was in 2021 in spring. It was a long time ago. We said already, I'm expecting Elyoya to spend time down there. As all of a sudden, Fnatic find themselves stepping into 3 members of Mad Lions. Damage traded back and forth, but nothing further to follow up. So Jamada, in terms of this bottom lane, in terms of this plan from Mad Lions, it's all in on getting Carzzy going.
Pretty much, right? You know, I asked for a game-breaking pick. Can Samira be that game-breaking pick? Yes, but by default, no. So there is a bar of execution Mad Lions have to hop over here, right? It starts realistically from the mid lane. I feel like you've got Taliyah there with the Vi. You have to unlock the Taliyah so that she has apt times to roam down consistently and continue to put pressure down on Noah and Trymbi. Noah and Trymbi should play this one out pretty defensively. You still have a lot of tools, right? Things like the Zap, the Chompers to really kind of lock down the aggression and the dives forward from Hylissang and Carzzy, and of course the Flay to interrupt the crashdown. Those things have to be on point, and they can't trade HP too aggressively. Otherwise, Nisqy and Elyoya, they're going to be living in that bot lane.
Yeah, it also gives Carzzy a little bit of the opportunity to try and play around things like Oscarinin and going for that big ultimate engage, or Razork going for it as well, right? Because he's obviously got the spin around maneuver, whatever that's called, that ends up getting rid of.
Wind wall as well.
Yeah. The wind circle. It's like the do not enter zone, but it works out well here, so I think it'll help out to a certain extent with this double engage that Fnatic have been using so effectively in game 1, just trying to make sure that it's nullified a little bit coming into game 2.
Immediately with that Thresh in the bottom lane, Mad Lions starting to back away. You anticipate this, but take a look at Elyoya. Starting to clear out that northern quadrant, making his way towards the bottom lane. I want to see what sort of impact he can have. And of course, for Razork, in the first game of the series, he replied well to Elyoya, who tried to be quite aggressive, tried to invade on Fnatic. Once he was able to bully Elyoya back, stole some camps away, actually moved to the top lane, helped pick up first blood onto that Rumble up top. Let's see whether or not that'll change. Trymbi's immediately backed away to that river. The wave has been pushed in, and Carzzy's farming under his tower.
I think you can see the game plan already from Fnatic. Cole started mid for Humanoid. Noah immediately resets, gets a Cole. They're like, look, we are hands off. We are fine letting this go into a later portion of the game where it's a case of you're past the mid-game point where Chasy's super strong and Elyoya can have a ton of engage, even Carzzy to a certain extent. So for Mad Lions, we are though keeping our eyes on Elyoya to see if Razork can track him and just make it uncomfortable for Mad Lions to get that.
Yeah, I think Fnatic just kind of have a perfect read on this game, right? It's going to be about Mad actually finding execution, depth sentence.
Shattering strike, the flay back. Hylissang's knocked away, and his first blood secured by Noah. It was Razork first in lane and punishes Mad Lion.
Defensive tools. The call was a lie. The call was a lie. Defensive tools, but they can still look for these picks and plays. Humanoid very low in the mid lane.
A lot of damage landing onto Humanoid's Jayce. Carzzy's going to at least dash forward. Minion wave pushing towards Noah. He was the recipient of that first blood. Fnatic were able to strike first. Take a look at the minimap. Mad Lions somewhat grouped towards the top, but they're not going to fancy any shenanigans. And this is probably the worst possible start here for this bottom lane of the Mad Lions.
Okay, it's not the end of the world because Carzzy technically didn't miss too much. That's where I'm really looking, right? He has to kind of keep up CS, and then eventually, again, we're looking towards Nisqy and Elyoya roaming. We need to see plays towards that lane.
Hilly already in a position though to try and see if he can influence this top side. Hits level 3, but not quite able to make much in the way of things happen, but will allow at least a shove to come through from Nisqy. And I think a huge amount of this is going to be a case of as well getting Nisqy to that level 6 and then trying to move around the map. I think it's something that we've been lacking a little bit in the LEC, especially when you look across at like some of the other regions. The ability to actually get out of that mid lane and still influence side lanes, despite the fact that the minions were changed.
And this time round, Chasy having a significantly better opening. I'm able to bully Oscarinin's Ornn. He's got himself a 10 CS advantage. Hylissang will spot out Trymbi, who left that lane. Noah is now pushing this wave back. In the middle lane, 3 members of Fnatic starting to group up. Nisqy's got that flash available to him, and Elyoya is relatively close by. Great vision toggle there from the observers, highlighting information that Mad Lions can or cannot see. The seismic shove, catch out Humanoid, push him under the tower for another shot. He replies back though from those autos, doing work, and keep your eyes on this bottom lane. Now Carzzy and Hilly once again the targets. Flashes available for both. Hilly stepping forward, the flame chompers are out, and Razork does not have the ultimate, so nothing further comes from it.
Whoa.
Swing, connect on the death sentence, and Hilly is able to be far enough away and nothing further happens. But I think Hilly's looking for another fight. He's looking for another engage.
Nisqy just hit level 6. This is what we're talking about. Immediately gets shoved mid, starting to roam down to the bottom side. Mad trying to get some sort of pressure down onto Noah on the spot side, but not quite able to do so.
If you turned off the nameplates, you would have assumed that the way Mad Lions are sort of rotating and moving around the map, fishing for opportunities, was Fnatic. That was how Fnatic played in that first game. And it was how Fnatic played throughout the regular season, but for Mad Lions, they have not been able to secure an advantage yet. Elyoya's only level 5, and get closer to that cease and desist. And it's once again Oscarinin putting the hurt down onto Chasy, just to get that knock up into the air and pushes him back. Okay, so even across the lanes in farm with a small advantage to Nisqy. The kill is in Noah's hands, and it is a marginal lead in gold. We're a minute away from the Rift Heralds. Let's take a look at which team wants to look at playing for it.
So I feel like both teams realistically cannot. We saw how the setup worked for Fnatic in game number 1. It realistically works the exact same way. It's actually more about the bottom lane priority. I'm curious more around Mad and how they use Nisqy's downtime when the wave is dead, where he actually dips off to, whether it's top side, bottom side, and that will really give us a good indicator about whether or not Mad Lions want to play more towards the Dragon, shutting down Noah, or going towards that top side for the Herald in a minute's time.
I think the Dragon is their best bet. This time around, Chasy is actually controlling that top side significantly better. Having the fact that they didn't lose that early stages, Razork.
A lot of damage already connecting, and all of a sudden, Razork gets taken down, kill secured by Hylissang. Mad Lions were grouped up and they layered that CC to kill Razork.
Brilliant job from them. The fact that they managed to pick off the jungler now gives them Dragon, and they should be able to get into a position as well to still threaten for the Rift Herald. So Mad Lions getting a pick really opens up this early stage for them.
I mean, such a fantastic turnaround here. I think in particular, Nisqy's Taliyah pick into Humanoid's Jayce. He's up 17 CS. Almost every time we look at that lane, it's Nisqy with the HP advantage, managing to connect every single one of those seismic shoves. Chasy's got an advantage in the top lane, and the Dragon's secured as well.
And you know, very crucially, I think Elyoya actually hits level 6 off the Skullcrab as he's doing it off screen. So the knockback comes in. Elyoya, I am pretty sure, just hit 6, and then the chain CC is just perfect from there. Razork just steps up too far forward. I'm not even really sure why. I'm trying to maybe help Humanoid clear out the wave. He was low man.
Yeah, I think they were just worried about like giving up that much control, especially with the Dragon up, but he ends up paying for his life, and they still lose control anyway. Chasy, though, as we said, much better time now on the top side. The fact he didn't lose out on, what, 3 waves from the get-go made it significantly easier now, where he's actually in a position where he's up on CS. He can actually be fine now to just keep pushing against Oscarinin for the moment, and now it does give that moment of opportunity where Mad Lions can go, right, top is under control. Mid is mostly under control unless you eat a few more of those EQ combos, and Elyoya can start to play around that.
Elyoya's ultimate is not available. You can see Razork challenging the vision. Teleport has been used from the middle lane. Humanoids will be up in just a minute or two. Once again, look at this bottom lane roaming. So much movement from both Hylissang and Trymbi. The Herald has been started. Mad Lions look like they've got support this time.
Yeah, the thing is though, without Elyoya's ultimate, the opportunity to try and play this as Mad is a little bit funky, because you were kind of waiting on Elyoya ult into flick back Nisqy, but Fnatic have control in mid.
Nature's Grasp is available for Razork. He manages to back away from that seismic shove and uses the lantern to safety. But with the focus that Mad Lions have pulled in the middle lane, it will allow them to secure, uncontested, the Rift Herald. In comparison to the first game, they didn't have the numbers, they didn't have the support, and they weren't able to secure the eye.
Carzzy's on his own though. Fnatic are like, cool, we've got push in mid, now we can lean into bot to get those plates for Noah anyway. And as soon as Carzzy shows here, he's got to be careful. Fnatic have everything to try and make a play in the spot side. Weren't quite able to cut Mad Lions off in that rotation to the bottom side in the way they were hoping to though. So at least now Carzzy should be able to catch this wave.
Okay, so a couple plates secured, and I think for Noah, who's the player that is very much the focus of Mad Lions. Take a look at his stats throughout the regular season. One of the most impressive debuts for a new player in the LEC. Significant advantage in kills plus assists and the goal difference. In CSD, they should be swapped. Last weekend, however, did not have the impact, didn't have the early game. And as a whole, Fnatic just didn't really show up for that series. Today, though, they ganked bottom. They've got Noah a kill. He's got himself a couple plates. He's going to be the focus of several more plays here as Elyoya looking to engage onto Razork, backed up by Nisqy.
Yeah, now though, Super Mega Death Rocket with the steal from Noah. Nicely done by the Fnatic AD carry. But you still have to be careful. Look at where Fnatic are positioned. 4 members still trying to make a play here. That's why look at Humanoid's movement. He's pushing up towards the top side of this lane. They want to make sure that they're not giving anything else to Mad Lions here.
Ultimates available for Elyoya as well as Hylissang. Vision toggle once again, highlighting that Humanoid's not 100% certain when the members of Mad Lions disappeared to. So he manages to survive for now. Carzzy once again left alone in lane. And I think let's give some credit here to this bottom lane as both Noah as well as Carzzy staying bang on even, while Trymbi and Hilly are moving around the map, trying to find those fights. The Rift Herald from Elyoya has not been dropped yet. If you were to assume a lane, probably mid, maybe unlock Nisqy a little?
It's kind of awkward. I mean, I feel like if you break mid tower, then it gives you a lot more freedom to make those side lane plays, which is what we're expecting from Mad Lions, but also you want to really get the Samira in a position where she starts to one-shot off those Inferno triggered elements, right? So I think both options very viable. Considering the bottom side tower isn't as chunked out as the mid lane, I would probably anticipate it goes down there just because the setup onto Humanoid a lot easier to kind of execute.
Yeah, I think the big win that you're looking for is Elyoya ult into Nisqy flick back, Hilly to follow up on top of that, and then you can immediately try and get that mid lane tower. And then that just makes the rest of Nisqy's ultimates far more potent, right? Because you can shove in that mid lane deep and then start to lean to sides with Nisqy. So I think that's probably the best case for Mad Lions, especially if Chasy, like look at him now, he's just shoved in top. So a lot of members of Mad Lions can collect into this mid lane.
And it is a minute to go until the next dragon is up. The first was secured by Mad Lions, starting to apply some focus to a potential mid lane dive.
Oh boy.
Elyoya, Chasy, Hylissang, all behind Humanoid. And there's no one in range to help. Cease and desist after the flash, the shove backwards. Chasy didn't even need the equalizer, so they find themselves the kill. They'll secure a couple plates, and they can peel down towards the dragon if that's the target.
This is like my solo queue where they just type, bro, just play safe. Like, this is the moment where you're like, you have no opportunity there as Humanoid. And now, with that play, the charge will go across. Mid tower very low. Fnatic are trying to group members in towards mid, but this is only opening opportunities for Carzzy now to actually get some plates more of his own in that bot lane.
Yeah, priority mid, but I mean, realistically, the setup is still there. They only really burn the Vioma. Very important, of course, to find the initial lockdown, but you still got Rell, you still got Samira, and of course, Nisqy can try and find an angle onto a backline with a flank. With that Ornn as well.
Trymbi's looking for the dragon. Although it's been pulled out. Teleports are available for both Chasy and Oscar. Doesn't look like Fnatic want to contest this yet. Dragon will be secured before they can even arrive. Hylissang still got that Magnet Storm. Waiting to see if anyone pulls the trigger. The answer is no for now. Second dragon picked up at 13 minutes on the clock. And all of a sudden it's now Fnatic trying to find their way back into this. They have been victims of a number of very proactive plays from the Mad Lions. I think I want to see what Nisqy will do with that tower now so low, and the fact he's still got a gigantic advantage in that middle lane.
I think the only upside here for, well, sorry, a fairly sizable upside for Fnatic is the fact that Jinx is so far ahead in that bot lane. Like, already an item completed, halfway towards the second item. Like, this Jinx is actually going to be a massive threat, and if Fnatic can play these front-to-back stalls, they're going to be okay. The problem, though, is a lot of point-and-click CC that makes things a lot easier for Mad Lions to execute.
Something. It's going to turn very nasty very quickly, though. If Elyoya presses his R key on Noah, and then there's a red carpet on his head. Yeah. It's going to be very difficult. There are tools, but then again, with this lead, you can very quickly die. I think realistically you need the Gale Force for additional repositioning on top of that as well.
Waiting to work towards that. Carzzy already completed that Gale Force. As you mentioned, the 1,000 gold lead for Noah. We need to keep an eye on both the Flash and the Cleanse. Needs to have those available to at least increase his survivability in these fights. But with the fact that there's no dragon to play for, we're about a minute from the next Herald. It does feel like just pushing these waves and looking for tower damage is the goal. Hylissang gets chunked out from that death sentence and poke combination. He does escape with his life, and Fnatic, they do not find the targets.
And they also use it right before Rift Herald's up. So now you don't have that big ultimate available for Razork in that mid lane. So even if you get party, it's going to be hard to lean. So I think Fnatic kind of going, well, that's kind of out of the question now. So let's see if we can make a play on bot side.
Elyoya is starting to back away. Nisqy's still sticking around. If you look at the river, both Razork as well as Trymbi stepping forward, but it's so hard to catch out Nisqy with that wall surfing ability of his.
Oh, Noah.
Does it happen? Noah, flashing flames available, manages to step back at the last second. You can just see both of these teams want to garner advantages through picks.
Yeah, exactly. It's like as soon as Elyoya walks up, you can just see the play happening before it even actually plays out on the screen. Fortunately, Nisqy and Elyoya not really working with enough information to be willing enough to go forward for that pick onto Noah.
Yeah, but this is what we're talking about, right? Razork, no ultimate available, so Fnatic can't contest the Rift Herald. So now they can either use it in mid, although mid's so low, you probably don't want to try and go for that, or you can just instead try and use it on one of these side lanes. So get the push in mid with Nisqy, and then lean into a side lane where you can use that Rift Herald to its full advantage.
I think for Mad, the range is so short that they might actually be forced to still have to use that Herald.
Maybe, yeah.
I feel like the re-engage with Fnatic is always a very strong option. And I think if Mad overstep, they will very quickly be pincered by that Ornn and by that Maokai.
As Mad Lions once again inside the Rift Herald pits. They started this one off. No real threat from anyone on Fnatic's side. Oscarin's pushed underneath his tower, and the rest of Fnatic threatening or trying to look for this bottom tower. Keep in mind, 2 minutes until the next dragon as well. We're going to be playing for that Infernal Soul. That's Fnatic just trying to extend that vision line, trying to set up for a potential either pressure on this tower or a dragon play.
Yeah, they know they need to get something for the cross map because Rift Herald is going to be taken here. So they're trying to make sure that they can actually get the tower in response to the bot side. But this is what we're talking about for Mad Lions. They want to try and get down this mid lane tower, and now there's nobody underneath them. Whoever rocks up is not going to be happy about it.
Elyoya is just waiting on the other side of the wall, can jump in with that ultimate if needed. Tower secured without even dropping the Herald, so that means it can't unlock the top tower. Flash is available for Oscar, as well as that Forge God, but there's 3 members of Mad Lions already in his face. Knocked up, dropped down, equalizer out, and Nisqy gets his first of the game. It's an easy kill for Mad Lions.
Too much damage, too much CC. I really want to highlight Nisqy's flick back as well. Stop the recast of the ultimate from Oscarinin, which could have made it nasty.
All right, Nature's Grasp will interrupt the backs. That is allowing Humanoid to push that bottom inner turret and to secure it. So that's the cross map that they were trying to set up. And importantly as well, Elyoya is still holding on to that Herald, so can still look for that elsewhere.
I think using it in conjunction with this Dragon Spawn up is where I'm looking towards, right? So we'll keep our eye on Elyoya. Ultimate's probably going to be back up by the time the Dragon spawns, or, you know, a little bit short of it. So I feel like Mad are going to be in prime position to just keep on forcing, even though they're 1,000 gold down. I think mostly in part because of that cross map, they're going to feel very happy to just look on plays and again, look towards Carzzy, that W blocking those ultimates from Fnatic, the long range ones.
I think the problem for Mad Lions at the moment is just that they don't have priority on bot lane, so you can four-man group as Fnatic into mid to force mid priority and then lean in. Obviously, though, the mid tower being up for Mad Lions is going to make it a little bit difficult to try and keep that priority for the moment, but you can see the idea here for Fnatic is as long as we can push Mad Lions back, we can then play in towards River.
It's about 30 seconds each for Oscar and Razork's ultimate. Chasy's on cooldown as well. Similar sort of time frame, 1830, 1840. Fnatic first into the river. They're starting to back away. And the shock blasts are doing a lot of damage. Nisqy down, what, a third of his hit points. Dragon is up. He's waiting in the flank. Magnet Storm's available, but no Elyoya ult. No Chasy ult. Mad Lions are a little bit split up. Do Fnatic pull the trigger? Oscar's ult is available. Razork's too. I'm waiting for them to be layered. They haven't pulled the trigger just yet.
They can't just do it willy-nilly though, because Carzzy can W. Nisqy's also waiting to try and wall off Fnatic if they actually step too far forward. So I think Fnatic are just very cognizant of the fact that their options are super limited and they don't know where everybody is. Elyoya, Hylissang on this bottom side flank too.
Yeah, Mad just trying to create pressure everywhere. Now you got the Rift Tower on the bot side. Noah has the Lantern to get back in position. Fnatic are caught between a rock and a hard place. This needs to be addressed, so Fnatic are just going to start it up.
All right, shock blast again onto Elyoya. He's looking for the cease and desist. His wall comes out, that'll at least slow down Humanoid. Elyoya goes forward, and so does the Magnet Storm. Dragon is still not secured as a two-man knocker onto Mad Lions, allowing Razork to pick up the kill, pick up a second. But Carzzy's Inferno trigger finds two back. Unfortunately, 4 Mad Lions. This may be the end of this. All of a sudden, the Death Sentence catches out. Nisqy flashes past the damage, throws out the threaded volleys. It's a 4 for 4 in the jungle.
It's a murder in that choke from Mad Lions. Noah, great stopwatch, but again, you know, there's so much AoE and that pick tool potential from Mad is so huge, and then Carzzy goes wild.
Yeah, you can see Noah tries to go golden to keep himself alive, but it's just not enough. Mad collapse beautifully, and just like that, they get the dragon, and they get the fight off the back of this as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can really see, like, the wall comes in, it kind of just prevents Fnatic from retreating in the direction they probably want to. The actual almost burst onto Elyoya is great, but as soon as he presses the R key, you can see how close Noah comes to dying, and then it's just about this chase down. So much burst is actually returned by Fnatic.
Yeah, Noah ends up getting ignited, he goes over, Carzzy gets the kill, and then he's manages to get some down. But watch this here. So as Nisqy goes in, you get the flick back onto Humanoid right as he's trying to kill off Nisqy. So Nisqy barely survives to pick up the double off the back.
So crucially, the dragon was not actually secured during the course of that engage. So we go right back to the objective. Keep your eyes on those ultimate cooldowns. Elyoya and Chasy also have their flashes available to them, the only 2 members on Summoner's Rift. As Mad Lions pushing towards the objective. Elyoya waiting once again to flank, and Fnatic, they're deciding to go for the tower.
Fnatic have the ultimates coming up first though, so if they want to try and turn over to this, look at Razork, look at Oscarinin, and Mad don't have theirs up and available yet.
All right, Nature's God stepping forward. The Blade Whirl will buy some time there for Carzzy. Paul the Forge God does knock him up. Dragon is still the focus as Fnatic now turn, trying to burn down the Mad Lions. Nobody's fallen just yet, and inside the pit, the Dragon is finally secured by Fnatic. Hylissang's locked in place. The Blazer is dropped down. Carzzy and Jayce need to do so much work here for Mad Lions as the Death Sentence connects onto Nisqy. Humanoid stepping forward with the damage, and it's Hylissang, the last man standing, an ace to Fnatic.
Noah might die, but Fnatic's hopes and dreams will not, as Humanoid with the quadra kill off the back will take the fight for Fnatic.
What an excellent team fight from Fnatic. Very well disciplined on the ultimates as well. You'll see it's the ultimate first from Razork, and as soon as the Blade Whirl is down, they just drop everything in front of them. Onto Carzzy, onto Chasy. He has to be forced back. And with such a low HP bar, it's so difficult to play out this team fight. The Dragon, unfortunately, Elyoya doesn't get the smite. Hook again from Trymbi too. And then you see immediate focus onto Noah. And sure, I think they actually get their man, but again, there's not really anything that Carzzy can do to get involved in this team fight.
Yeah, he's trying desperately to follow up on these engages, and they are getting the kill onto Noah. But Humanoid prospered off that last fight, now gets to call it in again in this one. Now, look at the damage that Humanoid is doing, and he's only picked up a ton more gold.
Mad Lions really need to layer those abilities together in order to unlock both the Equalizer as well as that Samira. pushes them down now. 3,000 gold, down a dragon. Baron is the next focal point for the time being. Fnatic have asserted control for the first time in Game 2. Inside the river, Mad Lions just challenging the vision. But you cannot deny the fact that they still have the tools available if they can find the fight. So for Mad Lions, now on the back foot, lost a couple towers themselves, they're going to look to regain control.
I think for Mad Lions, you got to start changing your attention. I think you have to start looking at Humanoid. We were talking about, oh yeah, you know, Noah's doing great. He nearly has a second item completed. He's picked up a Zeal since that point. But when you look at the 3 items that are there, it's looking significantly better as Razork now will just pop up the ult to try and catch Elyoya, but won't quite be able to follow.
Manages just on the tip. The rest of Fnatic trying to get forward. Weaver's wall will delay them. Mad Lions grouped up just behind the Baron pit. Elyoya is forced to use that flash to run for his life. Chasy has got a teleport available, hasn't pulled the trigger yet. Elyoya is just buying time and will eventually be run down. Do Fnatic fancy the Baron? That's the question.
It's very risky. I mean, you've got Carzzy, you've got Chasy as well with an equalizer. Plus the fact that, I was going to say Hylissang's got flash and no armor, but they're going to start up. Let's see how this engagement goes out.
Trymbi forced the flash. Death sentence was fired. Teleport completes for Chasy. Equalizer needs to do so much. 5 versus 4. 15-second death timer before Elyoya can even start moving towards the objective. And Carzzy splits up from the rest of the group. Back and Storm dropped Equalizer in. Carzzy's exhausted, trying to use that Inferno trigger, trying to find Noah, but he simply cannot do it. It's yet another kill for Humanoid. And Nisqy just barely sidesteps that engage, jumps forward, and gets off the threaded volley. Now it's Nisqy on the reply. The flash over the CC is what does it.
What is happening with these mid laners? They are popping off in these fights. Nisqy barely able to find his positioning with the flash to take down Fnatic. And now it's Mad Lions who get the turnover towards the Baron.
They should be able to get it. The death timers are way too long. Everyone on Fnatic is dead. And we said it was such a risky call. It doesn't matter if Elyoya is dead because there is so many AoE tools available to the Mad Lions. And I'm actually kind of curious, like, what does Noah get caught on? Because he actually gets CC'd by Carzzy's passive, so there's the crash. Oh, it's the Baron! The Baron gives him look up to keep him CC'd!
That is absurd. And the fact that it then gives positioning then for Carzzy to follow up with the ultimate. Humanoid is incredibly low because he has to jump into the Inferno to try and follow up. That fight was so close for not going Mad Lions away.
The League of Legends gods did not look down kindly on Noah in that team fight, and the fact that it then provides the opportunity for Nisqy to run down the rest of Fnatic is everything that Mad Lions needed.
One fight that Elyoya isn't there for the knockup.
The Baron is!
Like, I got you, don't worry.
Look at this complete role reversal. Damage from Nisqy, phenomenal. Brings Mad Lions right back into this. They've got the Baron now across all 5 members, but missing some key flashes. They are now the ones looking to apply pressure to Fnatic. Dragon is up in 40 seconds. It does look like a potential engage on the cards here. Nisqy waiting backwards. Trymbi won't find the death sentence, and Fnatic will wisely, I think, start to step back. 25 seconds before that dragon spawns. And it looks like Mad Lions making a first move.
Yeah, I think it's a good call for Mad Lions to try and group up like this. There is an argument to try and play side lanes with Nisqy because he's got the ultimate and stuff like that, but it's so easy for Fnatic to try and engage on you, especially from multiple different angles, and Razork now might be the one getting engaged on.
Right, so he's got the ulti, he's got the flash, Seismic Shove connects once again. Nisqy is just putting on a clinic. The kill was secured by Carzzy. His 3rd of the game, and it's a 35-second death timer. What do they want to do with this? Still got the Baron to push forward, and it has been a number of individual players that have just been flanked and surrounded and have started off so many of these skirmishes. Oscarinin, I don't think he's going to pull the trigger there. He needs to just buy some time, defend until his jungler's alive.
Yeah, they just want to clear it mid. Now Mad Lions can move back over towards the Dragon, pick that one up as well. So really nice use of the Baron buff in this opportunity. And now you're in a position where you actually can send Nisqy to a side lane because one of those big threats with the ultimate is down, and you have Carzzy who's actually in a position to cancel it if anything comes his direction.
Mad Lions still need to respect the team fight front to back that Fnatic have available. Also, need to be very aware of Humanoid's poke. He's 8-3-3. Just before this next big team fight, can I ask you, how many times has Mad Lions made top 4? This is the 9th split that they are playing in. And of the previous 8, they made top 4 in 7 of them. They made finals in 4. and they're fighting for their lives here even to make it to playoffs.
Yeah, I've only not made it to the top 4 once in the entire time Mad Lions have existed in the LEC. So for them, it's a case of trying to see if they can keep that legacy alive, or if Fnatic can keep their dream alive of making it to the season championship, getting to top 2, having that opportunity getting to Worlds. But it starts with taking down Mad Lions here, and it's a strong Mad Lions who are on the hunt now that the Baron buff is about to wear off.
And this game can still swing either direction. Noah threw out the ulti, didn't find a target. Baron will still be 3 minutes away. It's 4 minutes for the Dragon. So both of these teams need to play very cautiously, just pushing their vision deeper into this western quadrant here on the Mad Lions.
Yeah, exactly. This is the part of the game for Fnatic where it actually starts to get really scary, because if you take a zoom out, there is no vision realistically available to Fnatic on this top side of the map. And, you know, you try and face check, even if you're Oscarinin and even if you're Razork, the Mad Lions don't care. They will eat you up for breakfast. So Fnatic have to be very, very cautious about the approach, especially on this side lane, right? You get walled off by Nisqy, all of a sudden everybody's diving you underneath the tower.
It's also just so hard to escape if Mad Lions do find you, right? Because you've got the groundwork, which will just prevent you from being able to move away. You can have the CC that comes through as well. Hope though, hurts a lot.
That's a lot of damage. Trymbi will not connect with the death sentence. And Oscar's been able to make his way back to the rest of his team. He was towards that bottom lane. Elyoya's a little low. Carzzy level 15, wants to get that 16 from the Inferno trigger, and they won't be able to push that top inner turret and start to back away. But you can see the impact that Humanoid has when Mad Lions start to siege.
Yeah, I think that's the saving grace for Fnatic at the moment, is that Humanoid can clear out these waves so effectively. It's buying time for Noah to pick up a bit of CS. You can see him trying to catch that wave in mid, maybe get up to that 3rd item. Realistically though, I think you still, I know the stopwatch was burnt initially, but I think you really do need a stopwatch or a GA or something along the lines for Noah. You've got a bit of an opportunity in that they're not quite tanky Mad Lions, so you can kind of forego LDR.
Yeah, you kind of can't, you know, kind of a joke, I know, but I wouldn't even blame him if by the time, if this game gets to 4 or 5 items, if he ended up with lasagnas in his inventory,
honestly,
like, it wouldn't even be that bad a shout. But Mad Lions right now have basically every opportunity they need to basically force a fight if vision is there for them. In this case, it is.
That's Elyoya that starts this one off. Humanoid singled out, and the teleport was committed from Chasy. 45-second death timer for Humanoid, the largest impact player for Fnatic. And this Mad Lions splitting up. 3 members pushing mid.
He's extended way too far forward. He had Razork in the side and thought, all right, maybe I can go for this. But with everyone on Mad Lions not showing on a wave, that was just way too risky. Now Fnatic should be able to try and keep these waves at bay for the moment. At least Noah should be able to shoot them down. But it is going to be a case of losing the top lane turret, losing a lot of vision in your top side jungle as well. With Baron in 30 seconds, that's exactly what Mad Lions want.
Humanoid's got the teleport available to him. 15 seconds before he spawns. Wards are slowly being cleared out here from Mad. They secure their 6th tower of the game, and it's 20 seconds until that Baron is up. They're going to start to back away. It's also 1.5 minutes until the next Dragon. This is also the Infernal Soul for Mad Lions, so either objective, gigantic for them. They're not going to be able to stick for it now. Back, spend the money that they've accrued, and look to set up for one of those big plays. No TP for Chasy. Nisqy does have his.
Yeah, I think that's where you're kind of looking to see if Nisqy can spread out towards that side lane, use the ultimate. But again, you have to be so careful. If Oscarinin and Razork are able to group up in mid, it's so easy to engage on Mad Lions. And you can see at the moment, Mad Lions don't have priority in the map.
Wow.
So they can't do very much.
So much damage from Humanoid. Good poke onto Oscar. At least chunks him a little bit low, but not the primary target. 50 seconds for Dragon. Humanoid still firing pot shots onto the back line. Carzzy hasn't hit level 16 yet, but Chasy has, Nisqy has, Oscar has. And again, another shock blast finds its target.
Humanoid has to keep on landing this poke because the problem that Fnatic face is that Carzzy's always going to be able to block one of these long-range engage tools from Fnatic, whether it's that ultimate from Ornn or whether it's the ultimate from the Maokai.
You see, though, Carzzy's completely separated, which is why Fnatic are like, hang on a second, we can send it all.
All right, Call of the Force God anticipates the move. Elyoya goes golden to buy some time. The Nature's Grasp fires out as well. Kill secured. 45 seconds on the clock. Chasy committed the equalizer as well. And now 4 members of Mad Lions starting to back away. Fnatic on the hunt, looking for more kills, looking for more Lions to shred, and Hilly is dropped by Humanoid. His 10th kill of the game. They're not done yet. Looking for Carzzy, he's got the flash, he's got the cleanse, fires out the zap, caught in place. Bellas won't knock him up just yet. And the Inferno trigger is interrupted for a moment. With 1-1, two. He's looking for more, but he doesn't have enough to kill all 5 members of Fnatic. Chasy has at least burned some of Trymbi, and the Humanoid will now look to find yet another. It's all on Nisqy in a 3 versus 1. He's firing out those volleys on after the other. Sidesteps at least one of the shock blasts. Standing on that workground is going to be a little problematic, and Trymbi's looking for that death sentence, but Trymbi is not going to be able to find it. Nisqy has bought some time. No Baron, no Dragon, and Elyoya is alive.
And now Elyoya can start to move in with Nisqy. They know there's not enough health bars, and Elyoya will have his ultimate up in just a second. Fnatic are pushed away. Mad Lines on the soul. Razork, can you make the steal?
Humanoid's got the teleport. He's channeling it into the middle lane. Hylissang's coming in from behind as well. Nature's Grasp thrown out. That's caught out Elyoya. Here comes Humanoid, full mana, full health, level 16. Inside the pit, this is the second of the game for Fnatic. The death sentence catches onto Elyoya, and the call of the Forge God is thrown for good measure. Elyoya is able to escape thanks to the flash, but the Dragon is picked up by Fnatic. The soul is denied by Fnatic.
But the Baron now, because Elyoya's chunked out, he's on the bottom side. Nisqy, he's going to have to take a base. Is it something that Fnatic are interested in? It seems like the answer is no, but they deny the soul, and that's the crucial thing.
That is huge. The fact that they managed to get that steal is massive. Mad Lions, though, they want to start moving over towards the Baron. They realize that Fnatic don't have an awful lot left in the tank. GA picked up for Humanoid is huge, though, because that starts to remove him as a target for this combo that Mad Lions have been playing around.
Yeah, Mad Lions were really worried about that Baron for a second, but Fnatic were just taking their time. But now, with no Dragon on the map, this is really where the composition of Jayce, Maokai, it can actually kind of shine if they can take control of this river and kind of just push Mad Lions back. Mad, again, the ranged engage is realistically just Elyoya going in, and then everyone else following up. Chasy, Carzzy, Hylissang has to dive in. And if that's into Fnatic, right now, I don't feel like you mind.
Rapid fire cannon picked up for Noah as well. Now that gives control over mid and allows Fnatic to start setting up, as you're pointing out, Jamada, in this top side to start playing around that type of style. But
Razork's got the ult. Oscar just picked his up. Looking for the tower.
Wow.
Blade will at least interrupt some of that damage. Fnatic pushing the objective. They can fall back to Baron if they get control.
There was a massive wave in bot lane. They knew that someone would have to go and clear it out. So Fnatic cop it, move in towards the turret in mid, pick that up, and now they've already established all this vision, so they can start to move in. Hero ward there in the pit, but Fnatic have started up the Baron once more.
It's still so risky, though. We saw that it went really, really wrong the last time they did it. It's burning down really quickly, though. Elyoya's on the top side of this Baron.
5,000. Nature's Grasp will hold Hylissang in place. Baron secured by Fnatic. Nisqy throws down the Weaver's Wall. Not going to really find a target. Elyoya trying to find a squishy. Call of the Forge God sent toward the rest of the Pride. And the Baron is secured. The kill not secured. And it's Fnatic now the ones that can dictate the lanes.
What is this game?
I have no
After
idea.
game one, I was like, oh, you know, Fnatic, they just seem to be able to walk over, man. It's going to be fine. And then we come into this game 2 banger. I am so ready for this.
I feel at home. I'm just gonna be honest. I feel like I'm watching an LPL game right now.
Mad Lions lose this. They are eliminated from playoffs. They're eliminated from groups. And whoever wins this series goes on to face SK tomorrow. For Fnatic, right now, what can they do with this Baron? They're 2.5 minutes until the next Dragon is up. Mad Lions just need that one for the soul. They're looking for the third. That's Elyoya sitting, waiting for a target. And he gets caught by the death sentence and will look for the Magnet Storm. Equalizer dropped onto members of Fnatic, and the Nature's Grasp is fired right back. 5 seconds for Oscar's ult. 2 members of Mad Lions are caught out, and Nisqy's running for his life. Flashes through Banana. Elyoya does manage to use that Q, and here comes Oscar. Manages to tag Elyoya on the retreat, and another kill secured. 2 members of the Mad Lions are down.
And immediately Fnatic are moving towards the mid wave. They can smell blood in the water. They know the Mad Lions have so little left. Chasy's ult down. Carzzy, can he make another hero play to start to set up for Nisqy? But with all these flashes down, it's so difficult to play this.
Now for Chasy, because he does have that tier 3 ultimate, it is 15 seconds left before he can throw it out. He, however, decided to push the top lane. Mr. TP making his way back to the Nexus. Inhibitor has been secured. Hylissang is alive, and it's 15 seconds before Elyoya is up. But Super's in the middle lane, and Fnatic once again tag up Hilly. The Flay comes back, and Hilly's dropped once more. Fnatic in a numbers advantage.
What is Hilly doing? I mean, he's angling for a fight, but Elyoya's still dead. You need him with you when you dive in, so he's kind of just giving his life over. Fnatic now have another opportunity to push up on these Nexus towers and maybe strip one away, maybe even the game.
And Hilly just used his flash in the last fight, and now Fnatic poised in front of the base. The ultimate goes out. They're chasing for Carzzy, but they can't quite find him.
Carzzy's flash has just come up. Nexus Star number 1 falls. Noah's using the range and that rapid fire, as well as the rockets. Nexus Star number 2, the target goes forward. Elyoya holds Noah for a moment or two, but there's no follow-up, no damage to land on top. Equalizer was used earlier, and with Elyoya dropping down, it's all on Carzzy. He's killed. Fnatic have found a way to kill the Mad Lions, to secure their 10,000th kill in the LEC, and to eliminate Mad Lions from groups. Fnatic need just a couple more hits, a couple more kills, are all they're looking for. It's a quadra for Humanoid, looking for the penta into the fountain. He dives forward, he'll be shut down. Fnatic eliminate Mad Lions and continue their charge towards playoffs.
The dream is alive for Fnatic as they will look to face SK once more. They will need to rewrite what has been a very one-sided SK win. But Fnatic, if they're looking like this, are bound to give SK a fight.
All you can see on the faces of Fnatic is the story of relief. Dropping down to this lower bracket to 2-0 Mad Lions. They needed this. They absolutely needed this, and they looked so much better than they did in that SK series, crucially.
Coming into this series, these two teams were 13 wins apiece. 2 best of wins apiece, and 3-3 on the year. It is Fnatic that add 2 more wins to that column. They look more like their regular season selves, and that was one of the most amazing games that we have had all year long.
I'm just glad that even though Mad Lions are knocked out, we got to see that there is still that spice left in them, that they're able to bring the fight to the table, that they did themselves proud in that last game, taking it so back and forth. Nisqy and Carzzy trying to put on hero performances at different parts of the game, but unfortunately the giant that is Fnatic was just too big.
Yeah, too big, and I think, you know, obviously commiserations to Mad Lions. At the very least, I think when we asked of them, you know, what would it take for them to get back on track, I think these 2 games, definitely the second one, a lot more of what we wanted out of them, and they will be returning in the season finals. So hopefully for them, it'll be a better performance there.
Really good call out, Jamada, for Mad Lions. They're run here in both groups and looking to the rest of summer. They are eliminated, but in 4 weeks' time, they will come back in the season finals. For Mad Lions, it was just a little too late. Man, what a game. I am absolutely lost for words. We also got the 10,000th kill for
Perfect
Fnatic all time. If you want to vote player of the series, at LEC on Twitter, Oscarinin and Humanoid Trymbi. I mean, what a just phenomenal game. The back and forth, the mechanical outplays. Let's be fair as well, some of the individuals getting caught out extended that a little, but damn, it made it fun to watch.
It did. It really, really did. And I think for Fnatic as well, just going back to more bread and butter, I think that was really what we wanted from both these guys, right? More bread and butter of, you know, Fnatic have always been the team that wants to fight you at every opportunity, and they drafted for it. This time around, obviously, I feel like we asked, hey, R5 again, is it going to be a game-breaking pick? The Samira technically was, because it stopped them from doing that whole, you know, 2 screens away nonsense. But Fnatic still found ways to play around it, and in this particular instance, they were able to overcome that potential game-breaking pick.
They were indeed. That does it for us at the Castle for now. We're going to join Trouble on stage with Trymbi.
Thank you so much, Quickshot. Trymbi, congratulations on the 2-0.
Thank you.
I just want your quick emotions. Sadness, happiness, anger for last week. What is it?
After first game, a bit of a relief for sure that we managed to, you know, get the win off. That's for certain. But I'm really happy with, like, especially like the second game. Regardless of how he played or how long, like it's really nice to win. And now, obviously, I'm really happy with how things are. But obviously, there is another game tomorrow. So yeah, we need to still get prepared. But I'm very happy with how I managed to kind of play better, I would say, in second game. Like I think I had like more like consistent and good plays rather than first game. So that was something that I was proud of.
And very well done. Trymbi, compared to last week, what do you think changed, whether it be team atmosphere or gameplay?
For sure, we didn't have the best practice throughout the weeks. I think we didn't manage to find like good read on the meta, I would say too, but also like we didn't really. We kind of played a bit differently as a like individually as a team where after the loss against SK, I would say. So I think that we are just not really playing the way we played basically, you know, throughout the regular split. Also now, I'm not saying we're like back or anything, because we're not. I think there's still room there, but I think today there was like quite a bit of good stuff that we could see that we practice and paid off really nice. Janko.
Of course, it's Janko.
Of course.
Now, Trymbi, you said a little bit about the challenges with the meta changing. And of course, I want to ask you, you've been in this scene for so long and you faced a team that were on a 7-lose streak. Their lose streak continues. They weren't able to pick up a single game off of you. What do you think is happening from your perspective with the Mad Lions?
It kind of always, I would say it really varies throughout the teams. I think with Mad Lions, like, I'm not sure how they are, you know, as a team, like team environment and everything. I think they always had really amazing team environment, so maybe nowadays, you know, everything is not as good for them as it was, but I can't really, yeah, you know, it's like not easy for everyone nowadays with the current format. I feel like it pressures a lot and it takes a lot of your energy and effort in order to make stuff, and if it doesn't work, then it's for sure demotivating as hell, for sure. It's not that good.
Talking about motivation, you guys are going to be playing SK Gaming.
Yes.
I just want to remind you, kind reminder, of course, Fnatic has not won versus SK at all this year. And you guys just lost the best of. You're about to play another best of against them. Do you think it's going to be different this time, and how?
I think so. I think it will be different. I think now we are quite more prepared with how we want to play. I think that, I mean, today we showed a bit. We tried to adapt to the current state of how people want to draft, etc. And I think right now, like, I'm not, you know, like maybe they're confident too, but I think if we're gonna do what we practice and try to do what we can in order to win, I think it will be a good series for sure.
So you're feeling good about tomorrow, Trymbi?
Think so.
All right, thank you very much, and congrats on the win again. We'll see you tomorrow, and as for you, we'll see you after the break. Team Heretics versus Koi, stay where you are.
We're literally here just farming maximum gain output, by the way, so that Hilly can have the best stats.
Bro, but
It's
true actually. But Hilly, you saw how to play Rell? How to flash Q? I saw you gank in mid. We go. I'm going to Rell.
Go Samira. Look Taliyah. Nice! Let's go.
And Nisqy just barely sidesteps that engage, jumps forward, and a big the threaded volley. Now it's Nisqy on the reply.
No, Penta. We're going. Wait. I tank. I go.
Guys, yes.
Sorry.